Hey, hey all. Let's talk about video games. Video game podcast, pixelated podcast, episode 5 again. It technically should be 6, but
this is part 2.
Yeah, this is 5 part 2. You're never gonna hear 5 part 1, because somebody forgot to upload it. I'm not gonna point fingers. Yeah.
Audacity messed up, so it would have been terrible anyway. Yes, because the good part got cut out.
Nah, like half the good part got cut out. But hey, who cares? No one's ever going to hear it anyways. So
it was the best episode ever.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a highlights reel and revisit the topic eventually.
Absolutely.
Tribute.
Yeah, tribute to episode 5, part 1. But we're going to talk about video games this week that we've been playing, that we've been around, that have been happening in the news as of late. So let's get on talking about video games. Ikaika, have you been playing any new video games this week? I know it's a busy week, midterms for us Oahu University students. I know a lot of other kids are already on their spring break because Starbucks has been packed. Like, the lines are out the door of, like, kids on spring break from,
Oh, yeah.
not
Public
here.
schools were off on starting Wednesday.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
Yeah. And here we are. I have a final tomorrow, so I actually have 2 finals
poor
tomorrow.
soul. I finished my last one today.
Oh, I am actually very jealous. Yeah. But Ikaika, have you found time for video games?
Oh, yeah, of course. But that was earlier in the week, like during the weekend. Just not too much, but I didn't play really anything new. I was just playing more of, well, if you couldn't hear last week, but I started playing Unturned last week and continued playing it this week, and I still am so frustrated by it because people are assholes on there.
I'm sorry, what game?
Unturned.
What's that?
It's pretty much a survival horror game. Well, not really horror. It's like Minecraft graphics, but there's zombies everywhere.
Hey, Minecraft had zombies.
Yeah, but the thing that sucks about it is people are like really good at it, and they'll just like start sniping you.
Why don't you get good at Ikaika?
I just trying to, but they keep killing me.
Why don't you get good?
Anyways,
if you were good, you wouldn't have this problem.
I tried making my own server so I can play with my friend and like we can like actually do anything we want in the city, and then that didn't work. So like after a long process and everything, so I had to find a small server for me and my friend to play. So we were playing for like about an hour and a half, and then we found axes, started cutting down trees, we made a house, and as we were making the roof, he gets randomly teleported to like some military compound where the rest of the team is in the map, and they just murder him. And I didn't even know you can teleport people. So just from that, we got bummed out. We're like, let's not even play anymore. Like, screw this game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun until then. But whatever. I mean, I played a little bit of Rocket League with the Batmobile DLC.
Oh, you picked that stuff up?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it just because it's too low to the ground. And the car I like is like the normal RC car. So like it's easier to do a flip and hit it when there's more time.
Do
for
the cars actually have different hitboxes?
I believe so. Because like the big van, it's so blocky. That's like the quickest to hit like a ball. But the Batmobile, it's so low to the ground. There's like so much more time if you do a flip like for the back of the car to actually hit it.
Sure, but you look way cooler in a Batmobile.
You do, but
I mean,
I'd rather be the DeLorean any day.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not even a choice.
Not a question.
That's not a question.
Yeah.
Besides that, played some more Gmod, trying out new modes like Fat Kid and Pedo Bear.
It blows my mind that Gmod is still a thing.
Yeah.
That game came out in like 2003. 2004, a long time ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more fun when you play with a group of like friends rather than just random people. So I only play with like one friend and then try to get other people to join. So over the weekend, maybe I had like 5 people that I knew were all playing through Twitch. That was fun. And then actually yesterday, I didn't play, but I was watching my cousin stream. He was playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time.
Hey, that's a good game.
And it brought back memories because I don't really play RPG games. But I played that one. I got like halfway through, and then it got really hard, and I just stopped playing.
That one's a bit more of like an action RPG.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, I think that's why I got into it. But just going back, like, it brought so much nostalgia, and then him like trying to like figure out the puzzles, and I already knew how to do it from like 10 years ago or however long that game came out. Probably more than 10 years ago.
Nah, I'd say like 10 years ago.
But
that
yeah,
was a PS2 game.
I mean, it was fun watching him like try to figure things out, and like the rule in Twitch is like don't backseat game and don't give away spoilers. So I'm like not telling him to do anything. But the worst part was like before you went to the new world, there's like this one alleyway where you get your first summon, which is Simba, and he didn't go down there, and I was like, wait, go down this hallway, and then he went to the new world, and then he had the hardest time beating the boss because he didn't have the summon, and I was like, I told you so.
You don't really need the summons, though. I mean, I never used the summons at all. I maybe used Mushu once or twice, but I think that was in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I mean, but just as he's a huge Disney fan, like pretty much everyone, so like he would have been stoked like having that Simba. It probably would have helped them a little bit with the Alice in Wonderland boss, but whatever. That's about it.
That's a great game though. That's a classic.
Great.
Yeah, Wesley.
Well, I mean, I haven't played anything recently, but the game I kind of played. Well, I'll talk about the game I played last week, and then what I've been watching.
That's right. We have to go back through last week.
Kind of. Yeah, back in time.
Back in time. Here we go.
Back to the future. I don't know. So I was playing. It's kind of just the side scroller, top-down side scroller shooter based on Halo.
Oh, this isn't a Pantheon?
No. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I think we covered that in a week already, so I wasn't playing that recently.
Was that not last week?
Maybe that was.
It was, but it's a Pantheon, so
Hey, a Pantheon's a cool game.
Yeah.
I think
it's a cool game. You should check it out. It has a lot of good lore and history in it.
Cool art style. Okay, we can move on from Pantheon.
But the Halo game that I didn't talk about last week that I was playing, it's pretty cheap, but it's kind of cool how you do little missions, and it's set up as if it's like a simulator, so you're going back through the Covenant's advance into human space and different like missions that you have.
This is Spartan Assault.
Spartan Assault, and then there's a newer one that I haven't bought yet.
Really? I did not know they made a newer one.
Yeah.
That's it's like the dual or I'm sorry. This is what I call the dual joystick shooter kind of
Basically,
thing, where you're moving with one and then you're shooting with the other direction.
Or mouse and keyboard.
Or mouse and keyboard. You know, whatever you want to do.
But one of those simple games.
Yeah, definitely. They're a lot of fun, though. Yeah.
Play level.
I mean, Geometry Wars is like the staple dual joystick shooter, and I'd play that game forever. That was like my whole freshman year of high school was playing Geometry Wars and not being very good, but I played it.
Yeah. So
you've been doing anything else? Watching anything?
Primarily just I was watching CS:GO stream. So that was interesting.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
CS:GO is so like beyond me.
I watched CS:GO. I've played some in the past, and then it's just way too detailed.
Yeah.
Because you can see how you can develop timings, where to throw a grenade, where to look, where to do this at certain times in the game, and it's just like someone that can study all that, not fun to play against. So.
No, that doesn't. Yeah, I mean, hey, people really like that game though, and if they want to put the effort into that, then that's more
kudos to them.
Kudos to you. Yeah, definitely.
So
I'm just gonna run around with a gun and try to shoot
stuff.
Yeah. I play with my heart.
Too much casual here.
Yeah, exactly.
There.
I think that's what we're describing.
Casual gamers.
Yeah, it's fun to watch competitive play, especially for a game like that that's always kind of like popping off, Things are constantly happening. The maps aren't that big, so it's generally like a lot of, not close quarters combat, but they're always kind of engaging one another, the teams.
There's not too many quiet moments.
No, there's not a lot of downtime, and that's always fun to watch. All right, and I've pretty much been playing nothing. It's been these past 2 weeks, since again we're talking about last week, have been pretty busy for me. Last week I was in California visiting some relatives. It was my Aunt Gertrude's 100th birthday party. So
whoop, whoop.
Shout out to
happy birthday.
Shout out to Trudy Gertrude.
Centennial.
Good job. Yeah, exactly, right? It's probably the only centennial I know. So good for her making to 100, but because I was in California, I didn't really have access to a lot of my gaming gear. I played a little bit of Smash Bros on the plane, but I pretty much just read books. I finished A Farewell to Arms. It's a pretty good Hemingway novel. I was into it. And aside from that, I pretty much did nothing. Oh, last night I played a little bit of Guild Wars 2, and then I uninstalled Guild Wars 2 because I remembered I don't like Guild Wars 2 very much. I don't know what it's about about that game. It's just I feel like I can't do that MMO grind anymore. That's just like, here's a quest, kill 5 dudes. All right, cool. Here's another quest, kill 10 dudes. Like I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much been it for me this week in what I've been doing, which is weird. Normally I go on for 20 minutes, but It's a busy week. I have midterms.
Well, thankfully we have spring break coming up.
Yeah, that's right. Spring break
Have to have
happening.
some group gaming, and if we get something together, we'll probably try to do some recording so we can show
Absolutely.
you guys us failing or succeeding.
Somehow.
We're
Yeah.
gonna play some StarCraft 2, Wesley. I
Yeah, we
feel it
should.
in my heart.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
Do you guys use that app Discord?
Discord. No, I don't.
So it's like a you can download it on your browser or on your phone. It's like a way where like streamers on Twitch use it for like chat with their all the other followers and stuff. But you can also have voice chat too. So instead of like Skype where you have to like set up everything, you just have everyone go in there and then you can everyone just use their mics.
Oh,
So you can either use like your laptop or like you can use an iPhone headset or like a legit gaming one.
wow.
So that's what I've been using with my friends, and I mean, there's some hiccups last couple days, but I think because they're updating stuff, they're also working eventually on video chats too, so that'll be cool. But as of right now, I don't think there's a way you can record stuff, but I think eventually they'll have that, so maybe we can use that in the future too.
I don't really have a lot of friends, so I just use Skype. Like, we can kind of fit everyone into one Skype call.
Yeah,
It's
I
only
mean,
just like
most Skype calls is like
it's
4
fun.
people.
Yeah,
total.
it's like 3 or 4 other people that I play video games with regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So I've almost just entirely used Skype. Though for a while I did use like Ventrilo and stuff when I was playing more Dota 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, aside from that, I should definitely check that out though. Yeah, I mean, spring break's coming up. I would definitely want to do some stuff. Funny anecdote. Speaking of spring break, I bought a GoPro because I wanted to do some surfing video for one of my classes, and I took it out. I wanted to test it out, so I took it out to Diamond Head, and there was like 3 to 4 foot waves that day, so it's pretty small. But I lost the GoPro on the first wave I took off on. Like, I had it on the head mount thing, and I went into the ocean. I popped my head back up, and it was gone. And like, I also didn't have a leash on my board because I forgot my leash. So like, I had to make that split decision of like, do I try to look for the GoPro or do I start swimming to my board because it's already like 50 feet away from me. So I've already got quite the swim. I went for the board. I just gave up on the GoPro. So that was like $400 down the drain.
Ah, so you're one of those people like my sister found a GoPro and now I have a GoPro.
I'm the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the opposite.
I'm the one
That
who
supplies it.
Yeah, exactly.
Supplier.
I hear a lot
Jeez.
of
Which one did you get?
I got the session one. It was a $200
Oh,
one,
okay.
but then there was a 64 gigabyte micro SD in there, and then also the head mount. So
At least 300.
At least you didn't get like the 3 plus or the 4.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
I'm
like-
stoked I didn't go for like the $400 one and then fucking lost that
Yeah.
one. That would have been a real bummer. Still a little sad though, but
Of course.
what are you gonna do? It's what I get for not
You should have
taking.
tested it in shallow water.
Yeah, for like not
And, like,
doing the
slammed
proper.
Your head into, like slammed your head into the water just to
Yeah,
see
look
if
like
it'd
a
stay
crazy
on.
person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Rah, rah.
I think that would have been better than losing the thing on. Ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have found it at least.
I would. Yeah.
Well, now you know what to do next time.
Yeah. Next time I buy.
Next time you have like another $300
Yeah.
to spend.
I actually have zero
Oh.
money right now. I have like
Oh,
$2 in my bank account. I tried to pay for a $5 parking thing, like all day parking thing, and my card got denied because I don't have $5.
Been there.
So, you know,
Yeah.
this Kaleo money has to start rolling in for me.
Maybe during spring break you should go back to that beach and just
Go back
Yeah,
to Diamond Head.
You'd be surprised.
just dive for it.
They're made well enough. It would still be there.
I'm sure it would. Yeah, but Diamond Head's it's a big surf spot. It's,
But you should know where you were, kind of.
Yeah, but the waves are probably moved around. So
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Is like it's a pretty heavy current there too, so I'm sure it just
How
got
deep
swept
it
away.
is?
maybe I'll go.
It's like 10 feet deep, 20 feet
Okay,
deep.
so that's doable.
It's still doable. Like, I actually did try for a little bit. I was like swimming around, but I just
You
know.
need like mask, goggles, something
Yeah.
like so you can easily see.
I hear that lifeguards will tend to find like a ton of GoPros, especially near Waikiki, which is kind of the touristy area. They'll find like 20 GoPros a month, and
See, that's what
apparently,
I do. Like, what you should do is like film a tiny clip of like you saying your name, address, place you want it to go. Because I actually checked the GoPro that I found and tried to see if there's any identifying information.
sure.
So that might be interesting.
Also-
if someone even cared. To
Yeah,
do that,
I also
but,
feel like
mean,
a lot of people aren't that good people,
Yeah.
and like, ooh, $300.
yeah.
All right, so I guess we can move on to news if that's all
Yeah.
we've got under
Yeah,
our
we're pretty
belt
good.
this week. So this first story, Ikaika, I think you're the one who put this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today they released trailer for the new Star Wars Battlefront DLC.
And that's a first-person shooter.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
First or third person shooter.
Or third-person shooter. That's true.
Depending what settings you want to do.
Yeah, I don't like third person.
I always get the Star Wars Battlefront confused with the Star Wars MMO, whatever that's called, the new one, or not. It's actually not new anymore. Came out in like 2012.
I know you're talking about the New Republic.
New Republic. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So this one has there's two new weapons, so a new rifle and a blaster, and then you got new grenades, like card grenades. There's an extraction mode, which also is used. There's 4 new maps. So there's Solus is the lava world.
Okay,
so
lava map.
Yeah, so there's 2 of those. We already had Solus when you first get the game, but these are 2 new maps of that world. And then also we already had Tatooine, but we get 2 new maps for Tatooine as well.
It's like 2 new maps on the same planets you've already had.
It feels really lazy.
That feels.
It feels lazy, but in the trailer they look
they
a
are
lot different.
different.
There's like
I mean, sure, but like you have the whole Star Wars universe to be exploring.
yeah, but they also got like 4 more coming out this year. So
that's true, but yeah, that's kind of a bummer way to start out your DLC. Is like, hey, here's 4 new maps on the settings you've already been in. All right, deuces.
This is true, but hardcore Star Wars fans will not care.
Sure,
like,
but
still
I feel
more maps, yeah.
from the outside, I feel like you guys are being cheated, but it's okay.
Yeah,
ignorance is bliss.
Anyways, so there's also 2 new heroes. So there's Nien Numb. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Number or something.
The guy that Lando's co-pilot.
You're looking at me like I know about Star Wars.
Yeah, I know about Star Wars.
I've never watched a Star Wars movie.
Literally
so...
in the movies
What?
for like all of maybe 30 seconds max.
Okay, well, yeah,
and literally he just goes off in gibberish.
And then there's
sounds very important.
Yeah.
And then there's famous Greedo, who is, I don't know if you don't watch Star Wars.
Greedo's the guy who got shot by Han Solo.
Yes.
I know about internet memes.
So the great thing about the trailer is at the very end, like, because you can play as him now. So like at the very end of the trailer, he walks up to Han Solo and they both grab their guns.
Oh,
and
that's
then
cool.
it cuts away.
To black, yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
It's like, oh yeah.
You can finally see who shot.
But it's cool
first.
because like each hero has like their own special like power up, and it's like it targets like 5 people around, and he just shoots them all like really quick. So like instant kills like 5 people, I guess. So I mean that seems very OP.
That seems pretty
That is
rough.
all of the heroes are way too OP.
But
Especially
that's what's
Boba
fun
Fett.
about them. So it's like,
yeah, I mean they're meant to be very strong characters.
but yeah, so that DLC comes out March 22nd.
How much is it for that DLC? Is there a price there?
I can't remember how much it was per DLC. The
It's like
overall thing
15?
is $50
$50 for
all
for
4?
all DLC.
Oh, the
What?
season
The
pass.
season pass.
yeah for all 4 packs from now until early 2017.
I can't I hate that there's a cutoff date. Because
Yeah.
like, what if they release something after that? Like, you have to.
You gotta pick, man. You gotta.
And it's actually, if it is only 15 per pack, you're only saving $10.
Yeah.
Even.
That's. I mean, you're saving money though.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I don't know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Battlefront in a while, and then I replayed it on I think Sunday night, and I forgot the new maps came out. So it was like a new map on Endor, and I was like, "What the hell? Why is Endor on fire?" And like, but I think an AT-AT was like crashed, and there's just fire everywhere. But yeah, I need to start playing that game again because I forgot how much I love that game. I mean, it's not the greatest game ever, but it's for Star Wars fans. It's fun, and that sound quality is just like you can't beat that.
And I spent too much money just to leave it sit there.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point you guys have invested so much money that you feel
$60,
compliant to go back
like,
to
it's
it.
like
yeah.
I need to play.
You need to play it. That's how I feel about
my
Street
money's
Fighter
worth,
4
yeah.
or 5, excuse me. I put $60 into that game. I've played maybe 4 hours of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like, I just got smashed online for like 2 hours straight, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. Never playing this game again.
that's pretty much what I did. I stopped playing that game. It's a great game, but I mean the new DLC or the add-ons haven't even come out yet. So I'm guessing because they said March. So
Yeah, I'm waiting for the story mode.
and then also I mostly got that game just so I can beat the crap out of my brothers when I move back home because that's our game.
I hear the story mode's going to be pretty expansive, so I
Yeah.
feel like if it is what they say it is going to be, then I will get my money out of that game. But as of now, I've not put enough time into it.
Definitely not.
At all. All right, so this next news story, PlayStation virtual reality price
$400.
$399. I
Just
feel
like
pretty good about that.
I mean, I mean, that's a lot, but I was kind of hoping it was going to be less, but I knew it wasn't going to be.
No, I
The
feel
only
like
thing that sucks about it is if you don't have the PlayStation Move controllers, you have to buy that. And that's like $50.
You also have to buy the camera.
That plus the camera. See, at minimum, even if you have your Move controllers already,
Sure,
you're still spending $450 for the headset and
But
camera.
thankfully, I have the camera and the PlayStation
Yeah,
Move.
that's so weird. You are like 1 out of a million.
Well, because I got the Move like when it first came out, and I got my money out with that because the sports game was pretty fun. So me and my brothers would like play like drunk bocce ball or like frisbee.
I heard good things.
golf.
That's all I heard
It's
about
fun.
the Move is bocce ball.
Yeah,
and that's literally it.
I mean, bocce ball sounds stupid. Like, why would you play that? But it's fun.
a fun
It's like
time.
the Wii. Like bowling is so much fun to play with friends.
So yeah, $399 though. I mean, it's cheaper than all of the other virtual reality options. Oculus's $599, I think.
Starts at 600, yeah.
Yeah, it starts at 600, and the
Rift or
oh shit, what's the
Oculus?
No, the HTC Vive. That's it. Excuse me.
yeah,
Steam thing. There's so many of these.
Three main ones.
That's
so.
like $799. So
Yeah.
that's actually a lot cheaper than what I thought that was going to be because man, that thing comes with a lot of hardware. So I mean, the PlayStation VR is definitely the most priced for the consumer because you also only have to buy a $400 PlayStation.
At its lowest, it was 300.
300.
Yeah,
depending on when you buy it. $300 to $400 PlayStation 4 plus that's like $800, $900. If you want to do the Oculus Rift, you're gonna have to have a PC or the Vive. You're gonna have to have a PC that's worth at least like $1,500. So
yeah, and from the games that I've seen for PlayStation VR, like they look like they run pretty smooth.
Yeah,
If they're good or not, who knows?
yeah. I mean, only time will tell. with that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
the one thing some people had noted that Sony's not making a requirement to be 90 frames per second per eye.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I guess, the sweet spot so you don't get motion sickness.
Yeah, so you might see a little.
So, yeah, it could have
stuttering.
some negatives, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you're coming to expect, though, from a $400 VR headset.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be.
Experimenting.
Yeah. And it's not going to be the quality of the Oculus or the Vive because they're charging $200 more dollars plus having a beefy ass PC that most of us don't have. So, yeah. Whoa. Someone just died upstairs. Someone like got offed.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with this. I think this is a good price. I think I think $400 was a sweet spot for the PlayStation VR, and I'm glad that they stuck to it. Because anything lower, and I feel like PlayStation would just be losing too much money because those headsets are expensive to produce.
I'm sure.
I mean, so there's still a chance I might go to E3. So if I do go,
Wait, what?
yeah, I found another loophole I might be able to get into.
You found a loophole.
Well, it's not really a loophole.
What's
but,
the loophole?
well,
So I met someone on Twitch that that is kind of into like he's into the game industry, and he said he might be able to get me in. So like he sent my application in, but I'm not putting everything in. So if it doesn't get in, I'm not gonna be like, whoa.
Don't get too sad about it.
But if that happens, that's when I'll figure out because no one's gonna know what the VR is gonna be until like it's in GameStops, and then by then it's gonna get broken within a week of everyone trying it. So
yeah.
it's
Also,
like,
I don't want to put my face onto something people have put their faces on.
Yeah, that's
that
also
grosses me out.
Yeah.
That's how you get pink eye.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally.
That's literally how you get pink
That's
eye.
another thing I was thinking about, but only time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, from people who who have tried this in person, they've said fine things about it. They said stellar things about the Oculus and the Vive, but I don't think anyone has had a truly bad time with the PlayStation VR, at least in the press that I've seen so far. So yeah, that'll definitely be exciting. But I think you're right, Ikaika, that it takes someone actually trying out the equipment to really decide whether or not they want to buy it. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. I don't know how they're going to get it out to the public, like public testing or demo kiosks. I don't know how they're going to do that. So that's an exciting.
Yeah, and apparently, well, this is a segue to our next topic, but
which is
apparently, well, first of all, apparently is it called? Can we just say the PVR or PSVR instead of PlayStation VR, whatever? That there's 230 developers and publishers working on it, and there's going to be more than 160 games titles that are going to come out. Not all by the end of the year, but that they're developing right now.
Yeah,
and
they're working on it.
And for our next news story, there's going to be 30 games launched for Oculus Rift.
That's 30 games at launch, which is actually kind of impressive.
Yeah.
That's a lot of games.
Are they all going to be great? Hell no.
No,
But there's definitely going to be some good ones.
We don't know that. They could all be great, but
Let's be real.
we'll just have to see. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for a few games on that list. There's Eve Valkyrie, which I think is a pretty solid game that works really well in VR. You know, you can be in the pilot seat of a spacecraft, which is a childhood dream for many boys and girls. And then there's also Project Cars, which I thought was a really interesting game that is maybe one of the better racing games I've seen in the past decade, and has really great mechanics and physics and simulation. And I'm excited that A, they got picked up for this VR project, and B, that it will be a launch game for the the Oculus Rift. This next news story, if we're done with the VR talk, you guys got that out of your system?
We might have some more VR talk.
We're probably going to have more
later.
VR talk.
So I had no idea that these were in development, but J.J. Abrams and his team are working. Currently in development is the Half-Life game and a Portal or Portal movie.
Good.
So
2 of my favorite video game franchises can be killed in one fell swoop.
Hey, I believe in J.J. Abrams.
I don't believe in video game movies.
I believe in J.J. Abrams
Yeah, I
and Bad
believe in
Robot.
him to like
His worst
and Bad
movie.
Robot too.
His worst movie that he's made, to me, is Cloverfield. But that was still an okay movie for his.
I never watched Cloverfield. I cannot comment.
Okay, well, he's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's anything
But
like
video game movies are bad.
yeah, but
Like
that doesn't mean that-
unapologetically bad.
It doesn't mean that all of them are gonna be bad.
No, it kind of does. Because if at least one of them was good, if I at least had one video game movie that I can think of and be like, oh, all right, that was a cool movie, then I would think like, oh, okay, maybe there's hope for this. But so far, literally every video game movie I've ever watched in my whole life has been a hot piece of shit.
Yeah, well, it's not technically a movie, but the implementation that Microsoft did of episodes of Halo,
That's true.
that shit was pretty dope.
It's still technically not a movie.
But
But still, I'm saying,
it's
look
not
at if they chose to make that into a movie, look at the quality that they could have.
That's true.
So you
And-
gotta like acknowledge it from that perspective.
this
Yeah.
may not be the best argument, but the game industry is keep getting bigger and bigger. So with that happening, the actual like studios getting actual directors and screenwriters for these upcoming video game movies is just gonna make the movies better. Because as of now, we just have I can't remember that guy's name who does like Blood Rain and
Oh God.
House of that German guy or whatever.
Yeah.
He's the worst because like every one of his movies just like, okay, we're gonna have like 3 unnecessary sex scenes and just random nudity and just gonna be this cool like new metal scenes with
Yeah, I
from
mean,
the 2000s.
Yeah,
And,
just
like,
think
okay,
of Blood
no.
Rain. Like,
Yeah, those
Yeah.
were terrible. But
I mean, I think I'm just so jaded from the video game movies of the 80s and 90s that were like, oh man, the Super
Mario.
Yeah. And like the Mortal Kombat movies were like pretty bad.
Yeah.
That first one was kind of okay, actually, now that I think about it. I kind of dug that first one. But then the second one killed all the goodwill from the first one. That was awful. Johnny Cage dies in the beginning. Like, why would you even... Like, what?
spoilers.
That Dead or Alive movie? Do you remember that Dead or Alive movie?
I think I saw it once, but I don't.
Yeah, it
remember.
was
I erased
awful.
that from my memory.
It probably you erased it from your memory because
You know
it
what?
was so
You know what
bad.
movie I did like, even though it's dumb? Tomb Raider. You know why?
No.
Because 12-year-old Ikaika loves that movie.
Sure, 12-year-old.
You know why? Because Angelina Jolie's in it.
yeah, was going through puberty and Angelina Jolie was there.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Memories. Which
Resident Evil movies,
oh,
all
don't
of
even
them
bring
are
those up.
bad.
Apparently, though, Daisy Ridley, who was Rey in the new Star Wars, is in talks to be.
I didn't watch the new Star Wars.
Well, I don't know if you've seen her face, but she's in talks to be the new Lara Croft, and everyone's like, "No, not her." Mostly because, if you haven't noticed,
You're making boob.
yes,
Lara
Lara Croft is kind of
I mean, in the
busty, so
Well-
everyone's
well
complaining.
endowed,
I don't
as
really
they'd
care.
say.
newer, well endowed.
I don't know.
I don't care, but I don't really.
In the newer
see
games,
her.
they've kind of cut that off. They're like, all right,
Yeah, they laid it
It's
back.
modest.
This isn't the
most
90s
recent
anymore.
one Yeah, it's pretty neutral.
They're very modest.
but it's not Daisy
They,
Ridley.
speaking of her breasts,
And of course, we're being totally sexist here. So
I mean,
No, I said I don't care.
I
I'm
feel like the
saying-
games
I mean,
industry
I don't care either.
is trying not to be sexist
yeah,
anymore.
that's which is nice. To
That's
see
a
that.
great step for it, and that's why the new Lara Croft game. She looks like an actual woman compared to what she looked like in the '90s, which was this crazy boob monster that could do backflips and fought cheetahs. Those Lara Croft games were pretty good. To be
I
fair.
think mostly I wouldn't want that is because she's so young. Like she's only 23, 22.
but the new Lara Croft is young.
Yeah, but I want.
She's like fresh out of college.
What I'm scared of is another origin story. I just want to go straight into it. So like my friend pitched a great actress. He said Kate Beckinsale would be really good because she's like in her 40s. So like,
Dude, that's old, man. Are you kidding me?
have you seen pictures of her?
I'm
She's
just
still-
saying, Kate Beckinsale is old.
Would you
now.
not want to see a veteran Tomb Raider like
Nah.
bust it up?
I mean, I feel like the whole
She still looks young.
sure.
You're looking
You're
at her
acting
right
like
now.
she's like 60, 70 years
That's all
old.
I'm saying.
Calm down.
I'm not calling her like Meryl Streep or anything, but she's.
And she's still kicking ass.
I don't know if she could do those stunts.
She's doing. She's like
That's what
Underworld.
stunt doubles are for.
The new Underworld's coming out. Come on.
Just because the whole point of the new Tomb Raider games, right, is that it is a reboot. It is an origin story. That one that came out in 2013 or whatever.
Doesn't mean the movie has to be.
The movie should follow suit because those games were very good.
It all depends on popularity. Is what they'll model it after.
That's true.
Just have
That's true.
flashbacks. Just have her be like, come on. Like, I don't want to see another origin story. I'm tired of origin stories.
There's been a lot of origin stories lately.
It's like, oh, Hitman, origin story. Oh, wait, it wasn't that great. Okay, 5 years later, let's make another one. Let's do an origin story. No, stop.
Wasn't there? Yeah. I
The
mean,
one that came out like last year or
origin
something.
stories are popular because they reboot the franchise, right? And you can start it again with a younger generation.
Well,
So,
going back to the movies.
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, J.J. Abrams. That's right.
We'll find out if big studios can handle video games with the World of Warcraft movie.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. I totally
That
forgot
comes out
about
in
that.
July.
Wow, that's really
August.
soon.
And that
Yeah.
looks really good. So
Visually, it looks good.
digitally.
Don't
digitally.
count your fucking
I
eggs,
said
all right?
looked. Notice the key word looked.
Looked.
It could be
Past
another.
tense.
It could be
Yeah.
another Avatar, and not the freaking
Oh,
Shamalama Avatar. We're talking about George Cameron. James
People
Cameron.
didn't like that movie.
Avatar.
People didn't like Avatar.
I loved it. I loved it the first time, and then I watched it again. I was like, oh, I only liked it because the visuals and the 3D was awesome.
The
But
story was pretty much Pocahontas.
Yeah.
it's stupid.
You can knock it for its story, but like the visuals
It
and
looked
like how
really
it came
good.
all together, like
Yeah. No, definitely.
It's the perfect
It's
movie
a visually
to watch
stunning
on.
movie. That was like the 3D poster child. Like, hey, watch this movie in 3D
yeah.
because it looks really good.
That's probably the best 3D movie I've ever seen. in
That's
theaters.
probably the only 3D movie I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, they can do a lot of stuff with Half-Life and Portal. I mean, they both have pretty deep like lore. Portal, not as much. The lore is more kind of like ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to read in between the lines for a lot of that stuff. But I mean, you're right. J.J. Abrams is a good director. So I have my fingers crossed that he doesn't butcher two of my favorite video game franchises.
Well, I don't even know if he's directing. It's just his company, Bad Robot, is
Behind it.
is behind it. So, but they said they have screenwriters. It's in development. There's no like actors or anything, but they're currently writing the scripts.
Sure. That Uncharted movie is coming out pretty soon, isn't it? No.
There's not even a cast, so
Really? I thought I had a cast. Apparently, you can watch that movie in VR. That was a news story I saw earlier. Like, it'll have a VR option. We can maybe
be
touch.
weird.
Yeah, we can maybe touch it back because we can touch back down on that. But yeah, I definitely read that somewhere that it would have like a VR option.
that'd be strange.
That would be strange, but maybe kind of cool. Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, let's move on to this next news story, which is really far away from. Oh, that's right. This is a Shaquille O'Neal one. All right, so Shaquille O'Neal and A-Rod. I see Wesley shaking his head.
no, it's just interesting.
It's a weird story, man.
Yeah.
TMZ Sports reports, so, we're getting this information from a great source, TMZ, that, sports star Shaquille O'Neal and Alex Rodriguez have invested in an esports team. Where the esports team is NRG, and they're mainly in League of Legends and Counter-Strike. And this is so weird, man. This is a real-life huge star in athletics, Shaquille O'Neal, investing in what is a video game team. There's also a very funny, I'm going to read the tweet. that he sent out that says, "Pumped to join my new team at LOL NRG and start tearing down turrets." Oh, God. What, dude? Shaquille O'Neal? Come on. Get ready for the Shaq attack. Hashtag League of Legends.
Cringeworthy.
It's a little cringeworthy. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal has been known for being like a business, like marketing
he's
investor.
invested in a lot of different things. Yeah.
That have succeeded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he has high hopes for this team. I don't know anything about NRG. I don't know if they're like a great team or not. But, and you know, it's also weird that A-Rod. I don't know who A-Rod is.
Alex Rodriguez is a baseball player.
Okay.
He played for Yankees. He got traded to the Yankees from the Rangers.
You know who
he
A-Rod
got popped
is.
for steroids, so he's the big steroids person that everyone hates now.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, he's way into NRG. Maybe
he was at one point dating Madonna.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait, how old is this guy? Isn't Madonna like 100?
Yeah, but Madonna's like
Also-
even more rich and powerful than
that's true.
most male.
He's one of the richest baseball players, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's deeply invested into this team now.
Yeah.
So that's cool, I guess. I mean, I'm always excited for esports like taking steps into, you know, the mainstream. This is not necessarily the way I thought it would, but hey, you know, anyway.
But it's just starting to see that money's flowing in to own teams, and it's going to have similar to like pro sports.
Pro sports, exactly, yeah. And I mean, esports.
Pro sports.
You can already
by
say
now.
is kind of pro sports.
So can we say that in like 30 years, universities will have esports teams?
Universities already do have esports teams.
Well, I mean, for like NCAA,
No, but
like
official, like
you can get a scholarship to play
Collegiate.
League of Legends at certain universities.
okay, certain universities.
Not all
but,
of them,
like,
yeah.
we're talking about like Ivy Leagues,
Sure.
top schools,
The UH
Stanford.
I'm
the
talking
UH
about
League of
March
Legends
Madness
team.
for video games.
Yeah.
I hope so, because that'd be the perfect future for me. Talk about esports all day long.
all those job opportunities.
Finally, I could get into like a sport that, you know, like I could go to a bar and like have a beer and like, yeah, man, take down that turret. Like, all right, Shaq attack, hashtag.
Zergrush.
Yeah, Zergrush, exactly. Like, that's what I want to do, because I feel so alienated from real sports like football, because I just don't give a shit about football or baseball or soccer. I've never cared even
But
a little
don't you
bit.
box? Why don't you like?
That's
like,
true.
MMA or boxing.
I watch boxing, but I'm not like huge into it. I watch the big fights, but nothing. And I haven't. It's been a while. As you can tell, I'm a little out of shape. I've gone back to skinny Kevin.
Yeah, that's my problem too. It's skinny Wesley or slightly muscled Wesley.
Yeah, it's like
Never like overly built Wesley.
no. There's no like over or in between. It's either skinny or like there's a little something. What are you gonna do? All right, next story. Here we go. It is that I can't read this. The screen is very far away from me.
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. You put this on here.
Yeah. So
What's up with Ninja Turtles?
they released gameplay of like a couple gameplay videos. One's like a 20-minute gameplay video. The other day,
This is for what game?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan.
And this is from GDC 2016, which is happening right now.
Yes.
The Game Developers Conference.
So what's cool about this game is it's not fully open world, but it's like level-based open world. So I guess there's loading, but there's still like a giant area where you can roam around and stuff. And it's also 4-player co-op, which is
Okay.
great. So each person,
I would expect that from a
play
Ninja
that,
Turtles game. I would hope so.
because I think they did that for the PS2 series that they had going on, which those were fun too. This is more in the style of the new
All right, I'm out.
cartoon.
Oh, the new cartoon. I
Yeah.
thought you were about to say the new movie.
No.
Yeah.
That was gross.
The new
Weird.
cartoon. You know how they're like really like little kid looking, like
No, I don't watch
Okay.
cartoons. Sorry,
Well,
Ikaika.
neither do I.
But
But
it's like
I've checked it
sketches.
out because I wanted to see. But anyways, it's kind of that style mixed with more of a comic book, like you know how like Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 3 when they brought in Street Fighter 4 when they had the Japanese ink, like the darker.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it kind of like has that accents.
That's
each
cool. I
character.
really dig that kind of
Yeah.
art style.
So it's interesting. It's not bad, but I hope it's a good game so I can get it and just play.
I mean,
but
The
will it be a
Ninja
good
Turtles
game?
have
We'll never
had
know.
like a pretty bad track record so far.
yes.
Aside from like the arcade game, that side-scrolling arcade game, Turtles in Time, that was a fucking solid game. But aside from that, I don't think I even remember a good Ninja Turtles game. But
The
this next
first
story,
one's so hard.
which one? The first one? I don't even
The
know.
one for NES.
Oh yeah, but that game was like notoriously bad. Also, like that game was notoriously a piece of garbage. This next story though, not notoriously a piece of garbage. I'm working on my segues, if you guys couldn't tell. I'm trying to hone those.
Sneak them in.
Yeah, sneak them in there a little bit. So Microsoft talked about cross-platform play, which means that they want games like, say, someone is playing Rocket League on an Xbox One. They want that to be able to also work with people playing Rocket League on a PlayStation 4. And they briefly talked about that at GDC. And Sony actually responded saying that it wouldn't be impossible and that they're slightly open to the idea, which I think would be exciting because if you think about it, a lot of games, especially smaller games, have like really small player bases on specific consoles. So if those consoles were able to link in a cross-play sort of format, then those very small player bases would at least expand a little bit to where it wouldn't be very difficult to find matches. There would be higher player counts. The servers would, have a little more activity. How do you guys feel about this?
If this was about 7 years ago when I had the PS3, I'd be more excited because no one had the PS3. Everyone had the Xbox 360.
Yeah, because
so like every friend that I had, like, oh, let's play online. Oh, I have an Xbox. I'm like, ugh. But now it's like almost everyone has a PS4 now. So, I mean, there's still people.
That means the Xbox One kids can be like, hey, let's play.
Yeah, but I'm on the good side this time, so.
Yeah, so you don't care as much, obviously.
I mean, it would still be fun, but I don't really know anyone that has an Xbox that doesn't already have the game on PS4.
Wow.
The one person I know that has an Xbox One, he has a PS4 too, and he has Rocket League on there. So I'm like, okay, we're good.
I also like this because, it won't stop friend groups from having to buy the same console as each other. Now they can buy whatever they want, and with the addition of crossplay, they can play with each other compared to all having to say, like, all right, we're all going to get a PlayStation 4 because we all want to play with each other. Now, if someone wants to buy an Xbox One, they can, if they wanted to. I don't know why they would want to.
I mean, when I first initially saw this was before PlayStation's response. I was very skeptical because I was like, with such a market share lead, PlayStation has no incentive to make this a thing.
But then they kind of like tease it out. They're like, oh yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, and they basically dissed Microsoft saying like, oh, we've had games before that were like PC and PS2, PS3 compatible. So they were kind of going from the angle like, we've done this before. We've already tried it out. Yeah. Get on our bandwagon. Like,
please, get on our level, Microsoft, if you could.
So, I mean, where both companies are expecting developers to do something, I think like real life on the ground, we won't see much of it.
No, you're probably right. But, I mean, it would be nice.
I mean, for games like Rocket League, it's good because it's not... I mean, so many people play that game, but it's not like a Call of Duty or a Battlefront or like any like of those big shooter games, which I doubt any of those would ever be cross-platform. But these types of smaller games...
that are low intensity, that don't rely on split second.
Yeah.
I think it'll be...
There can be a little bit of lag in Rocket League, but there can't be any lag in Battlefront because it's very noticeable. Because
then you wouldn't want to play in a match that had...
Oh no, when there's lag in Rocket League, that shit, it pisses me off because the ball...
Hey, you swore.
Yes. But that...
Finally, I'm not the only one.
He said earlier.
Did he?
Yes.
No, you did shit.
No, you said at 18 seconds. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, you did?
I didn't
all right.
That. Okay.
It's all around.
But anyway, when the ball like freezes and then it moves like across the entire field within a second, I just have to exit. But then the weird thing about Rocket League is you can't just exit any game. You have to vote to like forfeit, and then everyone on the team has to vote to forfeit. So usually when it lags, everyone will, because if you're lagging, everyone else is lagging.
Yeah.
But that shit is annoying. It's okay. Go on. What you're saying?
No, I mean that was the end of my train of thought. Pretty much. Again, I just think it's exciting because at least smaller games will have bigger or more activity on their servers, or at least people can match up easier. Because that always sucks, playing like a tiny multiplayer game that maybe there's like 4 other people online or whatever, like 18 other people online, and then like not being able to find a match. It's kind of a bummer. So at least maybe this will stop that from happening.
Yeah.
New releases. Here we go. Not a lot coming out in this coming week. Pokken Tournament coming out on the 18th for the Wii U. Pokken Tournament is that Pokemon fighting game.
Is that Pokemon and Tekken?
No, kind of. I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
I thought you like misspelled it first, and I was like, oh no.
Tekken Tournament? No, it's Pokken Tournament.
No, I thought it was like Pokemon, and then I reread it. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is Pokemon. I don't know why they called it Pokken.
Or is it Ken and like a Pokemon put together?
Oh, gross. Like Street Fighter, weird
Oh, boy.
mix-ups.
With
Crossbreeding.
like a little tail and
Yeah, like if all the Street
muscles.
Fighter characters were furries, then...
Oh, yeah,
They're all
that's what it would
There's,
be.
there's probably a Tumblr for that.
Oh, there's 100% a Tumblr for that. There's also like a DeviantArt. Yeah, you can find that on the internet. I'm excited for this game. I don't have the money to buy it, which sucks, but because I bought a GoPro. Had a GoPro. But wah, wah. I've heard really good things about this game. I think GameSpot gave it like a 9 out of 10, so that's pretty exciting. And it's accessible. What they described it, I don't know because I haven't played it myself. But they call it an accessible fighting game with a lot of depth, and that's generally what I look for in a fighting game. Because unlike something like say Street Fighter V, which is kind of difficult to get into but has an extremely large amount of depth, this one seems a little bit more geared towards like people who play Super Smash Bros, where that's very accessible but also has a lot of depth. So that's kind of what I look for in a fighting game. Also, I love Pokemon. You can play as a Chandelier Pokemon. I don't know how they made that into a fighting game character, but I'm glad that they did. So that's exciting. I know I can also finally boot up my Wii U again. That's the best part. I have to dig through my closet.
Quick question: who's your favorite Pokemon? Go.
Oh, that's an impossible question. No,
5,
it's not.
4,
The Gecko
3,
one.
2.
Oh shoot! What is
Wesley
it?
5.
I wouldn't
4.
know this. I've
Trico.
never played.
Trico is my favorite Pokemon.
Oh, that's post 152. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I gotta go with the basic Charizard.
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, that's everyone's favorite, really.
Yeah, he's pretty.
I mean,
cool.
Charmander's cool too.
Yeah, definitely.
Or
Squirtle's a
Squirtle
pretty-
Squad.
Squirtle Squad. Put on
Squirtle.
those glasses, fight some crime or whatever they
Life.
did. I think they were delinquents. Wasn't that episode? They were like a motorcycle gang.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Other games coming out this week: Professional Farmer 2017. See Wesley shaking his head vigorously. What's up? You don't like farming? You're not into
Whatever people are into.
You're not a
is
pro
fine.
farmer?
Is this like the American Trucker type
Yeah,
games?
exactly. Except if you're like way deep into farming.
It's like farm for real. Like
But I could farm in my video game. You know, Wesley?
I'm not gonna argue this. This is.
I could farm in my video game.
Yeah, you could.
Like I could truck for real and make like real money, or I could truck in a video game.
Yeah, but if you farm for real, you get like real benefits, not just like wasted time.
But if you think about it, that's what all video games are.
Not gonna lie, I had fun watching on Twitch American or Trucker or whatever the hell that game's called. Because the guy I was playing, so like he had it so it was song requests. He can request 30 songs, but he made the theme like pop music, so everyone was playing like Britney Spears and stuff, and he like had to sing along to every song. So like people were
God.
like picking like the worst songs, and then on top of that, he was drinking. So the longer the stream went on, the more he hit other cars. It was great.
Yeah, see, I get the point of like driving games, like Trucker, et cetera, et cetera. Those seem interesting, but I don't. I guess,
You don't think farming is interesting?
No,
Have you ever played like Harvest Moon?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
This is like an upgraded, like
Yeah,
a next level version
yeah.
of Harvest Moon.
I'm just like kudos.
Sure. You know what, man? There's something for everyone.
Exactly.
And I don't understand the appeal of Professional Farmer 2017 either, but someone's going to dig it somewhere, and they're probably going to be European.
Nebraska.
Yeah, they have a lot of
Nebraska.
farmland over there. That's how they train
I don't know,
their
I just
children
picked a
to
random
become
state in the
farmers.
middle.
Yeah.
In the middle.
That is a farming state. That's where my parents are from. So
Oh, really?
yeah, both of them.
Is that
so
corn
this-
over
It's
there?
corn country. Yeah.
are you
pretty
like
much.
genetically going to be a better farmer? Like,
Probably not.
if I put you into
Neither
a
of my
field of
parents.
corn, would you just know what to do?
No, but I'm
Okay.
probably genetically a better runner because my dad ran marathons.
Oh yeah.
He made it to the Boston Marathon. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's impressive. That's good. What's not so good is professional farmer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. You know what? Again, something for everyone, man. There is a lot of new tractors. Probably it's 2017. I don't know how they update it year
They
by
have the
year.
updated cat models or something like that.
I'm sure, dude. There has to be something like
John Deere has a new tractor.
there's a new like corn harvester. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
GMO DLC.
Yeah, exactly, right? New GMO policies. Like, there's kind of this weird, morbid curiosity in my head to actually,
You have to fight off the activists too.
yeah, exactly. It becomes like a horde survival game. Yeah, I don't
Never
know.
know.
I have a morbid curiosity just to see, like, what this game even is. Because,
Yeah, now that we're talking about it, I'm
yeah.
like,
Like, I wonder
have to
just
go
what
see
the
some.
hook is. Maybe some people just
growing
like farming.
crops. It's the same people that play Farmville.
Sure. Well,
It's similar,
I think it's like people who are even more dedicated to farming.
and
Because
don't
Farmville,
like free to plays.
yeah, exactly.
Which
Farmville's more just like a button, like tap a button. This is like, no, you gotta water this
legit
shit.
farming.
You gotta really farm. So this one's
Is this a hentai game?
Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle. It's not. I can see what you mean. It's not a hentai game. That game actually came out back in '93, and was kind of one of the more classic adventure games. And it was also very humorous for its time. It kind of did video game humor right. And it's getting re-released for the PS4 and PC on March 22nd. I just felt like this had to be known. It's a classic. It's a staple in the genre of adventure games. So that's just a quick aside. So we're going to move on to our next subject, which is questions. Ikaika, you asked a question earlier while we were prepping this podcast that I didn't really know what you meant. So please feel free to explain your question.
So since we talked about video game adaptations of movies,
Yeah.
how about we have movie adaptations of video games? So since we talked about VR and movies, what movie franchise would you want to see converted into a VR game? So my pick is Tron, like Tron Legacy.
Tron already had a video game.
I'm saying for VR. No, it can be
For
I'm saying a
VR.
VR game. So like for PlayStation
be
VR.
Like a VR specifically game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can already pick a movie.
It could be any movie,
Okay.
but don't do a movie that's based on a video game because that's stupid.
Tron's kind of based on a video game.
Well, the world is, but there wasn't no Tron game before.
Okay.
But anyways, I think that would be cool just because like, have you ever seen Tron Legacy
No.
or the first Tron?
No.
Have you?
I only saw the recent one.
There's
Yeah,
those,
the
there's a
recent
motorcycle.
one is
Oh yeah,
Legacy.
yeah. Okay, then,
Yeah, so
I've
I think
seen
it'd be
it.
so
That
cool
was a good one.
to like actually like ride like a motorcycle. So
Yeah.
with the controllers, you can like use the throttle and stuff, and then maybe just lean left or right to turn. And then there's also the disc because each character has like a disc on their back. So if there's like you don't have to have a disc peripheral, but just use the controllers and like because you use that disc, it's like has your identity, but you can use it as a weapon on other
Sure.
people. So I think that would be cool. Like if there's some way where you can like duck behind stuff and then throw it down the walls or ricochet, just using that whole world because I mean it's pretty much already a video game world. So having that movie into the VR spectrum, especially since it's like 360 VR is now a thing, I think that would be really just a really cool thing. And Tron's just an awesome movie. Anyway.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be too taxing on hardware because of its minimalist art
Yeah.
style. So it'd be actually a good one for the early kind of.
And
release.
if they can have the original composers make music for that, which is Daft Punk,
Yeah.
if they can make specific music for that video game, I'll already buy it. I don't even care
I
if
would
the
buy
game
it for the
sucks.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've never listened to Daft Punk.
no, but their Tron soundtrack because they worked with an actual like orchestra to make it all,
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
and then it's remixed by them. And
I think you would like it since you like video
Amazing.
games so much. I think you would like Tron.
you should look it up on like iTunes or something. Just listen
Sure.
to parts of it.
It's so good.
Wesley, do you have an answer? Because I don't really have an answer. Yeah.
Well, I would honestly argue for Avatar, the big open world blue people one.
That also had
James
a video
Cameron.
game.
Probably, maybe.
This is not very good.
I'm sure it was
it's
terrible.
into obscurity. Yeah, but I just like kind of like. I guess it's more in the theme of exploration. Like you could travel around the world, see different things.
I think it'd just be cool to see like the aliens and all the creatures from that. Would you want like a flying level?
Well, that would be interesting too. Just like even if it was like kind of scripted, but just still flying around on the creature and just being immersed in it.
Yeah.
It's
And
like-
have like
Those are like some of the best scenes from the movies when they're flying around.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that now. Like the controllers, like I guess you like push on like the creature's back or something to like bank left or bank right.
Do you have weird hair sex with the creature too?
I was just gonna ask that.
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
stick
You
your
probably
hair
have to.
boner into its hair vagina. That was weird. That scene
Yeah.
grossed me out as a kid.
Did you know that's actually how they have sex? And when they re-released
What?
it with the 7 extra minutes, when they released the film,
That's how they bang?
you know where it's him and the girl and they're like under the tree and stuff,
Yeah,
but then it cuts off.
they're
So in
banging.
that they get their tails thing and puts them together.
So people were right.
So everyone's like, "Oh my god, they
That
really
is-
were bestiality."
So wait, does that mean that that they're like banging the horses and banging the
No, well, it's a connection. It's not.
It's a connection. It'd be like any other thing. Like, I mean, it's data. For them, it's data. So it's like, but it applies to all their lives.
Sure.
And all the different creatures have.
Does that actually how they reproduce? Who knows? They never said anything. Maybe it could just be that they connect to each other. Yeah. Which, I mean, who cares? It's not like it's actual bestiality. It's an alien, like.
With the human in an alien's body.
It's
still an alien
and it's fake, so stop complaining. Yeah. You're acting like you just saw, like, a guy fuck a horse or something. Yeah. That's not what happened.
Wait, that's not in the movie?
No.
Oh, I was watching a different movie. My bad.
You sure you weren't on, like, a
Were you watching the porn parody of it?
I still don't really have an answer for this. 500 Days of Summer in VR.
So would half of it be like architecture?
Nah, just be the movie.
That movie.
It'd be like a Telltale adventure game where it's very narrative driven and just going through the story.
Would it be non-linear like the movie?
Nah, it'd be linear. Oh yeah, it would be non-linear where it like cuts through the days and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer's a bitch.
Hey man, it needed to happen though. That's what love is. It's okay. He met Autumn. Gosh, I just want to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You know what? I actually want it to be from the viewpoint of Zooey Deschanel, so I could like make out with Joseph Gordon-Levitt because that's like a secret fantasy of mine. Like I had the biggest man crush on him.
And then you want to break his heart.
Yeah, and then I want to break his goddamn heart. Yeah. So that's my answer.
I don't like Zooey Deschanel just because that movie.
What?
I mean,
she's so good at New Girl.
She's so good in that movie, but she totally like. I still think she played him. I mean, even though she said, I'm not in for real relationships. And then...
She put it on the table in the beginning.
And then she goes and marries some fool.
Yeah, after like...
Spoilers.
Yeah, hey, spoilers for a movie that came out in like 2006.
And if you think it's a chick flick movie, it's not. It could be, but it's good for anyone to watch.
It's good for everyone.
It's not like it's a Jennifer Lopez, like, Made in Manhattan movie.
No. Shit. I have to bleep so much stuff out. All right, speaking of soundtracks. Oh, I didn't actually say anything about soundtracks. That movie has a really good soundtrack. Speaking of soundtracks, there we go. Segue. I have a question. Hey, what do you think the best video game soundtrack is? I'm going to give my answer as well. Castlevania Rondo of Blood has maybe one of the dopest soundtracks I've ever heard. Because it's pretty much just remixes of all the normal Castlevania music, like the da 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 da, but like way cool and like orchestrated, and there's a lot of like weird like progressive rock in there, like prog rock. Like that's a dope soundtrack, man. And it was great too because those levels were very difficult, so you'd constantly be dying, so you'd hear them a lot, so they had to be really good, or else you would kill yourself. So, yeah, definitely. That game is pretty dope. Also, the game had some really cool names for levels and stuff. Also, Rondo of Blood is just a cool name for a video game. A rondo is like a crescendo. It's actually a musical thing. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I was a musician at one point.
Oh, yeah? I did not know that.
I played trumpet for 7 years.
Nice.
So, is there a certain era for the soundtrack? Because I have, like, multiple games from multiple eras that I'm thinking about.
Pick your favorite one. I know. It's supposed to be a difficult question.
I'm just going to say honorary, and then I'll say my favorite.
What?
Punch-Out is great.
Punch-Out is great.
Ninja Turtles, the first one, the game sucks, but that intro music is my current ringtone on my cell phone.
Sure.
But I would have to go with The Last of Us. That soundtrack.
You picked 3.
I just said those were good. Those were the ones I was...
I'm just saying.
I'm going into detail about... The Last of Us.
But The Last of Us is your choice.
The Last of Us, yes.
Why is that? I don't really remember that
soundtrack. It may not be 8-bit
soundtrack.
or like chiptunes, which I love that type of music, but The Last of Us, it just has that gritty tone to it, and that composer, Gustavo Santaolalla, I don't know, I'm not...
Santaolalla?
Okay, Gustavo. He's an amazing composer. I actually watched, there's a whole an hour long documentary that's on the Last of Us game.
Yeah, there was like a making of.
Yeah. And like 15 minutes is just the music. And his studio, so he like has guitars and stuff, so there's the amps you can plug in, but those are not just in the studio room, but everywhere throughout the whole studio. So in the kitchen and the bathroom, so wherever you like have an instrument.
So if you're like taking a poop, you can be like, all right, I gotta just jam one out now.
Yeah, if you're making a sandwich, you can also go down in the kitchen. So that's really cool because like if ever he's thinking of something, he's just like, oh, I can just plug this in and start recording.
That's smart.
And it has that like Latin tone to it since he's, I
think that was a Spanish name, Gustavo.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not too sure.
What country he's
Nordic,
from, but
oh yeah, you might be. I don't know.
But that tone to it, I want to find out where he's from now.
This is great looking at Wikipedia files
Argentina.
on this podcast. Argentina.
Yeah.
I was almost right.
So
Yeah.
it has that.
Hispanic.
There's like some electric guitar in there, but it's mostly acoustic guitar. That's like really like, it just sounds like really old strings. So it's like that grit and rust to the music.
Yeah, which very like kind of encapsulate that game, because that game is very gritty and rusty.
And then there's like scenes where like the clickers are after you, and then there's the timpani drums, and like, or just like it's like instruments that are just used like random like buckets are sound like the actual drums. But that's really cool that they added that in there too, and just everything mixed together. It sounds like a movie like composition.
Yeah, and
score.
that game had like a ton of production value in it, so it should have sounded like a movie. You know, it's another really good older video game soundtrack, Mega Man 2. That game had a dope soundtrack. Wesley, do you have an answer?
I'm gonna have to agree with The Last of Us one.
Wow,
because I've watched
cop out.
the playthrough. No, I was thinking of it, and then he said 3.
The Last of Us comes out a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, because that game's great. I'm sorry if I love that game so much.
I think that game like also was the answer to a question like last week or 2 weeks ago. It's like what video game character do you feel the worst for? And then I think we all picked. We all picked
the partner.
Yeah, Joel from The Last of Us.
Oh no, I said Glass Joe's the person that lost to Glass Joe.
That's right. Yes. Well, I guess.
But if that music makes you cry more, that spoilers, when Joel's daughter dies, that music adds to that as well.
It does. It's very well put together.
Because in like less than 10 minutes, they have you like wanting to sob.
Yeah.
For a character that you barely even met.
Yeah. They totally
let's
upped
just
it.
play through The Last of Us again.
Yeah.
I almost bought that remaster.
Like commentary, just all
It was
three of
super
us sitting
cheap
there.
last week.
It was super cheap. I almost bought it. But I bought a GoPro instead.
I was gonna say it's only
Unwise
$8, but
decisions.
you said you only have $3 in your account. So
Yeah. No.
I can lend you $5 if you want.
It's okay. I'm good.
But that
All
game's
right.
great.
I think we're all good. This podcast has been what are we? We're running out of time, right?
We're an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah,
if
we're
you have
running.
another question, we can do it. But if
Wesley, you got a question? I'm seeing a no, a frowny
good.
face. We're good. I think we're good. So I'm gonna go take a midterm tomorrow on Spanish. No me gusta español. Pero we're gonna end this podcast. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Adios.
Adios.